Hey, friends, and welcome back to the show. Today, we are going to be diving into something that I know I'm not the only one who struggles with. It's getting caught up in the mechanics, waiting for everything to be perfect, and falling into the trap of the right way versus wrong way thinking. So, if you've ever found yourself stuck because you were waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan, this episode is for you, friend. Let's talk about why it's so important to stay focused on your vision and not get lost in the details. Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I am your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. So I attended an event recently, a training, and one of the topics that was brought up was vision. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, I've listened to so many people talk about vision and the importance of vision. But his approach was really the first time I've heard anybody talk about it in this way. And so when I say the word vision, like, what comes up for you? What are some thoughts that come up for you? Is it like one of these fluffy words or like just something you're just not attached to? Just notice that first and foremost. Or do you find yourself like, okay, there's this dream, but then you go into all the how-tos. And the question that he gave the group was, how much time should be spent on vision? How much energy, how much focus should be on your vision, and how much time should be focused on mechanics, which the mechanics is like the how-tos, the actions that you're going to take. And so people just started, throwing out like 50-50, like 50% on the vision, 50% on the mechanics, 60-40, 10%, 90%. Like there was all these numbers that people were throwing out. And one person said 100% vision, 0% mechanics. And he was like, that is the correct answer. And we just went into this discussion about how important vision is. And if I'm being honest, like typically, like I know we're supposed to have vision. It's definitely not like one of my strengths. I'm definitely a mechanics girl. And this exercise and this session was really powerful for me because it has been something I've been working on probably the last year, is to just have this mindset and have this curiosity energy in how I approach my business, how I approach my relationships, because I am very much have been right way, wrong way. I've very much been trying to do it. I wouldn't say perfect. I think I'm learning, like I am pretty close to the line on my expectations of doing it well. And I'm trying to be really careful not to label myself as a perfectionist, but I know that that's part of my personality. I do have those tendencies. And it's also just part of just upbringing and lots of different things that have kind of formed that in me. But so let's start with that first. Let's start with perfectionism. And how often do we hold ourselves back because we're waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances, or the perfect idea, right? Like that silver bullet idea that's just going to make everything else better. And perfectionism can be paralyzing. Like it keeps us from taking action because we're afraid of getting it wrong. Like how many of you live in the land of indecision because you're afraid you're going to make the wrong decision? But here's the truth. Like waiting for perfection is just another way to procrastinate. Waiting for perfection is just another way to procrastinate. And the magic happens when we take imperfect action and we learn as we go. And you probably have heard this before, but I know many of you have set some goals and you're already in the mechanics. You're already in the actions. And I talk a lot about action here on the podcast, as I do believe that action is what brings clarity. Action is what brings the confidence and the success, all of that. You have to be doing. You can't just be thinking about your dreams and dreaming big and all of those things. But perfectionism isn't about doing things right. It's more about fear of failure. And that fear can keep us stuck for way too long. So getting comfortable with the feeling of failure, getting comfortable with, hey, I tried this and it didn't work, that is growth. And that is leveling up your own self-concept as an entrepreneur and as a mom, is not getting stuck in doing the right things or doing things right and holding yourself back because you have this huge fear of failure. Failure is not a characteristic flaw. It's not who you are. It's an event. It's just something that happened. You tried something and it didn't work. That doesn't make you a failure. It just means what you tried didn't work. And so when you allow it to seep into your identity, this idea of failure, that's what also breeds perfectionism, because then you're like, I don't want to feel that anymore. So I'm just going to wait until it's perfect, the perfect time, the perfect idea, the perfect plan. The second thing that I want to talk about, and so we can shift gears a little bit, is about this vision. So your vision is your guiding force and the big picture of what you want to achieve. It's not about the nitty-gritty details of how you'll get there. It's about where you are headed. And when you have a clear vision, it gives you direction and purpose. It keeps you grounded and motivated, even when the path isn't perfectly clear. Because when is it actually perfectly clear? Like, let's just be honest. When is it actually perfectly clear? Think of your vision as your North Star. It guides you through the twists and the turns of the journey. So we can stay committed to the vision, but we don't have to be married to the mechanics, the how-tos, how we're going to get there. And you don't have to wait to have those things in alignment to start taking action on your vision. So when you think about 2025, or let's just look at the first quarter, what is your vision for the first quarter? What is the vision for how you want to show up as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a wife, as a friend? What is that vision? Don't let your brain go into the mechanics of how you're going to achieve that. Just what is the vision? And I want to encourage you to dream big here, because I do think as an adult, or as adults, we have forgotten how to dream. We have forgotten how to reach higher and dream bigger for things in our life. Because, you think about as a kid, that was one of the things we talked about at this training was, as a kid, sky was the limit, right? We didn't have life experiences to squelch our dreams. We just dreamed the impossible dream. We dreamed the biggest dreams because we weren't waiting on the perfect plan. We would just do it, right? We would just put out that dream. And so I want you to think about that for yourself. And how can you stay 100% focused and put all of your energy into the vision, knowing that that vision and that why and that intention is going to drive you to the mechanics, into the actions. It'll just be a natural byproduct because you're so committed to that vision. Hey friend, can I give you permission today? Like, for real, your own permission slip. Permission to get clear, to cut out the noise. Mostly the noise that is going on around in your own mind, in your own head. It's just swirling. And you're asking yourself questions like, why am I stuck? Why am I frustrated? Why am I not making progress on my goals? I want to invite you to a free clarity call with me where we're going to dive in and we're going to identify what are the 3 main issues that are keeping you stuck. Number 2, what are the mindsets around those issues that are actually keeping you from solving for those issues? It's not our skill sets, it's our mindsets that keep us stuck and hold us back. And then number 3, identifying what are your next steps. We all have a next step, and we have 100% responsibility for those next steps. Your only next step right now is to go to the show notes and book your free clarity call so that we can work through this. I'm believing in you, and I cannot wait to see you on our clarity call. So now let's address this idea of right way versus wrong way thinking. This is such a common mindset trap. We often think there's one correct path to success. And if we don't follow it exactly, we're doomed to fail. But that's simply not true. There are many ways to achieve your vision. The key is to stay flexible and open to different possibilities. I want you to think of Ross in Friends. If you haven't seen that episode where he pivots, right? Trying to get that couch. There were multiple ways to get that couch up the steps or down the steps. I can't remember if they were going up or going down. I think they were going down. But think about that and think about your vision. Like there are going to be multiple ways. And when you're committed to the vision, you're not wrapped up in or married to there's one way. It's the perfect way. It's the way I see this person doing their business. This is the way I see them doing their parenting. It allows you to create a vision for how you want to be as a mom. What are the things that you want to have as a family? What are the things that you desire in your business? Like, what are the visions for each one of those things for you? Because there's many ways to achieve it. And that's the problem. We see all these people doing so many different things. I'm like, well, I need to do that. I need to do that. Well, you don't know what their vision is. You don't know what their goals are and their aspirations. So the key is to stay flexible and open to different possibilities. Success isn't about finding the one right way. It's about finding the way that works for you. Like this year with me staying super curious and not allowing my brain to get so much into the mechanics and, well, there's a right way to do this. And this is how she's doing, or this is how this coach has said for me to do it. But just being curious has allowed me to try lots of different things. And now I know this is a winning strategy for me. But you know what? It's a winning strategy for me right now. I need to remain flexible, committed to the vision, but not married to the mechanics. And sometimes that means, again, trying and failing and adjusting as you go. But if you're afraid of failure and you have that fear, that's going to keep you from even trying. So be willing to feel the failure and just, okay, I tried something. I just figured out a way something didn't work. Next, pivot. Let's go on to the next thing. And what really matters is your commitment to that vision and the intention behind your actions. So it's easy to get bogged down in the mechanics, the step-by-step how-tos that we think we need to have a perfectly mapped out plan. But again, what if you focused more on your commitment to your vision and less on the exact steps? So this week, I just want you to start noticing when your brain goes into the mechanics. Because when you're really clear on your why and your vision, the how often figures itself out along the way. You take imperfect action. You're trusting the process and you keep moving forward because you have a vision. It's very clear. You're very committed to it and your heart is in it because you've dug deep into the why of it. But just notice this week. And the funny thing was after we did this session, there was like a group exercise and there were two groups and we had to get each member of our group to the other side. And there was like this obstacle that we had to go through. And as soon as he said go, you could see everyone's brain getting into the mechanics of how do we need to lift this person up and how do we like position them? And okay, here's this strategy. You could just see all the mechanics going on in everyone's brain. And he stopped all of us and he was like, look, you are all in the mechanics. And the one lady in my group, she was like, the vision is we get everyone through. And so once we all like, okay, yes, that's the vision. We want to get everyone through to the other side. Then we were open to the different ways we had to get people through because some people were tall, some people were short, some people were older, some people were younger, some people were rounder. And so we were not committed and married to the mechanics, but we were committed to the vision of seeing everyone through. That's the difference. And that's what I want you to be thinking about. Just start noticing when your brain goes to the mechanics. So lastly, let's talk about embracing imperfection and flexibility. Life rarely goes according to plan, especially for an entrepreneur. I tell you all the time that you don't actually own a business, you own a roller coaster, right? And there's ups and there's downs and they're upside down. There's like turnarounds. There's all kinds of things that happen. And that's okay. The key is to be flexible. The way that you can actually enjoy the ride is to be flexible and willing to adapt, willing to make that pivot. Every step, even the missteps, is part of your journey towards your vision. Mistakes aren't failures. They're learning opportunities. We either win or we learn. We either get the result that we want or the lesson that we need. And if you can have that mindset, that is such a powerful mindset that I hold and belief that I hold that keeps me out of that failure mentality or afraid of failure. So give yourself permission to be imperfect. Focus on progress, not perfection. You've heard that 1,001 times here on the podcast. And the more you embrace imperfection, the more you'll grow and the closer you'll get to your vision. So to wrap things up, remember this, your vision is your anchor. Stay committed to it. Focus on your vision, on your why, and let go of the need for everything to be perfect. Don't get stuck in the right way versus wrong way mindset. Again, I'm super guilty of this. Instead, trust your journey, take action, and know that every step you take, even the imperfect ones, are moving you closer to your vision. So thanks for tuning in with me today. And if this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can come find me on Instagram at Martine31Williams. I'd love for you to share this show. And while you're listening, go on down and give a rating for the show, give a review for the show. And if you have not booked your free clarity call, girlfriend, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the perfect time? Are you waiting to feel ready? Are you waiting for the maybe nervousness to go away with getting on the call? Like, it's just you and me talking about what you want and how we're going to get you there. So go down to the show notes or go to martinewilliams.com and book your free clarity call. I would love to connect with you. And until next time, keep focusing on your vision and take those bold, beautiful, imperfect steps forward. I'll catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.